we go. So we're gonna take a look at the Yolopark AMK Pro Series Megatron / D-16 from the Transformer 1 movie. So ordered this as a box set from Show Z. And when you ordered from Show Z, you got a cool tin of a mini D-16, which is cogless. In the previous video, I don't know if you can see them over in the background, open up the Orion Pax cogless, Orion Pax Transformer 1 cogless bot, which is pretty cool. So we'll start with this first, and then we'll open up this package, which is really, it's got a cool looking box. All right, so we'll start with this little one, get that built and take a look. Gonna enjoy this walk. All right, so there he is, cogless D-16, and he's a pretty cool looking bot. Quick build. I think Orion Pax was 5.5. He's a little bit taller. I got him at about 6, which makes sense. You expect Megatron always to be bigger. I'm sorry, taller. As far as articulation, no big surprise here, similar to the last one. You do get this shoulder raise right here. I thought that was pretty cool to have. Head, everything's like on a ball peg. Head rotates around. It's a little stiff, I imagine, after playing with it. And of course, like I said, everything's on a ball peg, just pops right back on. Got a single joint elbow, bicep swivel. Hands come on and off on a ball peg. They work pretty well. Got the pointing finger. Yo, okay. Let's see here. The hip skirt, yeah, it's fine. Okay, this one seems a little better. Kick up, kick back, side to side. Because of that ball peg, you got your full motion. You actually have, you almost have the full bend. So this one you have 2 joints, which is pretty cool. Get a little ankle rocker. And I do like how the ankles are stiff. Again, ball peg. Yeah, so pretty cool looking guy. You get your hands. The cog does fit in his chest, however, falls out. Okay, so I'll leave that off to the side. Okay, like Orion Pax, you get a jetpack. This one pops off. With some pretty cool looking detail. Get him stand there. Pretty cool looking detail. Fits right on for that one time, for that one scene where they're racing, which was a cool scene. Get him flying. Go a little elbow bend. There you go. So, pretty cool looking jetpack. Looks pretty cool. Happy with the color. Okay. I will say this. Something's wrong with my chest. I don't know if you can see it. See how I'm pushing it in? It won't go in all the way. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's going to pop off or anything like that. Okay. So, a pretty cool looking bot. Again, you ordered the exclusive and they added this to it. No complaints on that. And you got a cool looking tin. Now, on to the main event. We'll get that open. All right, so there's Megatron from Transformer 1, all built and put together. Pretty cool looking bot. Let me show you this really fast. So this is a little, Decepticon logo. Has a magnet on the back. This is for the base, and I'll show you later on where that goes. His helmet lights up. And I think the breathing one looks the best, where it fades in, fades out. I think that's the best feature. Oh, forgot to mention, when I ordered this through ShowZ, batteries were included. So just be careful when you open the package, because the batteries are not in the package. They're floating around in the bubble wrap, not necessarily taped together. I think one battery was, but the rest are just floating around. So be careful when you open it up. Okay, so here's the figure. I like him. I think it looks really cool. There's a ton of die casts on here. Die casts all over the place, okay? As far as articulation, he's a bit different than his counterpart, Optimus Prime. Let's show him here. His shoulders are somewhat, restricted as far as going up and down, but you do get this cool little butterfly here. Sorry, the shoulder pads go in and out. But you got a little butterfly right there, which is cool, but you have to pull the shoulder pad out to get the arm up. So that's what I mean by as far as restricted. You get all the way around. You get a double jointed elbow here and here. You get your bicep swivel, but the bicep swivel is underneath here, so it works just fine. Oh, just be careful. Again, this is a model kit, so pieces may fall off. Oh, forgot the head. Ball point all the way around. Looks up, looks down. Yeah, a simple ball point, ball joint. There we go. Works just fine in ball point, which is funny because that's actually a transformer from the worst bot, ball point. If anybody's reading that, one of my youngest son reads it. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, you get, as far as the waist, you get your rotation, you get an ab crunch. Okay, cool looking design. You get the Decepticon logo on the front, and when we transform into D-16, I said transform. When we put on the pieces for D-16, this gets moved to the shoulder. Okay, as far as the back looks pretty cool. Okay, you get a little, look at that, get some articulation there. This here is going to be for the flight stand. We'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, some cool looks there. Okay, cool looking mini fusion cannon. Would be cool if this had a battery. That would be cool. As far as the legs, you get hip skirts, move those out the way a little bit. Get in the back. It is tight. I imagine over time, when you play with it, it'll be easier. You get your full run. Okay, double joint there. You do get a hip. Now I'm gonna show you something. Pops off. When you put these on, I recommend wiggling them in rather than force them in, wiggle them in, okay? You see that screw there? I wonder if I could change this. All right, see that screw there? The hip skirt, I'm trying to see if I can lower it a little, but I wonder if I could rotate the leg around. Oh well, that's not too bad. Some cool looking designs. Even though this is from the Transformer 1, you don't see too much of I don't see tank. When I look at this, I don't see tank. I see some of the G1 Megatron from his legs, from the gun mode. That's what I see when I see this, okay? I see some G1 aesthetics in here. Now, as far as his fusion cannon, that pops right off. Again, wiggle, 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 wiggle. You got the other fusion cannon. Oh, this one here, you gotta take off this arm piece. 1 second, please. Okay, get it off. There we go. We'll find that later. Okay. And there we go. Okay. It's on there. It does look pretty cool. Got some detail to it. It does look pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna take it off. It is a cool looking thing. I don't know why, but I like this one better. Okay, it just has a better look for me. Again, wiggle, 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 wiggle. It's kind of stiff. Oh, let's get that splinter in there. See if we can pop that off a little bit. There we go. Put this piece back on. Yep. And then put this one back on. It's just preference, whatever you prefer. I'll put that one back on. Wiggle, wiggle. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, as far as hands, you got the fist hands. You have some pretty cool looking hands here. Okay. I like this one. It's got that natural look to it, as if it's somewhat pointing. It's got the cool design there. Okay. Then you got your natural opening hand. You do have articulated hands. You do have articulated hands. They're okay, but again, they're missing that little detail there. So I'll keep the articulated hands off, and I'll be using your posable hands, or your static hands, I believe is what they're called. Okay, now, so you got your Megatron. Now, as far as the D-16, to put D-16 on, okay, you have to change, and I have it off to the side. You got a different chest piece, a different face mask altogether. Oh, and speaking of face mask, you've got two other options for faces for Megatron. They are pretty cool. They're easy to go on. In order to do it, you got to take the top of the helmet off. And you have an expressive one. This face was in the episode. I'm trying to zoom in. There you go. Okay. There we go. It was in the episode. So pretty cool. Let's transform him. Sorry, I said transform again. Let's put on the pieces to change him to D-16 and then take a look. And there he is. D-16 from Transformers 1. And to be honest, I like the look of him compared to the final form Megatron. He has that young Megatron look that I really do appreciate. There's the helmet. You know, he's got those yellow eyes, which if you remember from the Transformer 1 movie, they changed over time. So they went from the red, zoom in a little, from the red to the yellow. You know, a little thing like this, the Decepticon logo being on the side right here, it just gives you that young Megatron look, which I really, really do like. Transformers 1 also had a unique aesthetic where the legs seemed longer. But I really, really do like that young Megatron look. Sorry, D-16 look, okay? And in case people are wondering why D-16, D-16 was from the original box art. Is how they labeled the Megatron on the first G1 toy from Japan. Decepticon number 16 was his box number, D for Decepticon 16, because he was the 16th Transformer Decepticon in that line. Okay, so everything looks pretty much the same except the shoulder pads changed. Something else I want to point out, and I don't know if I mentioned this. You've got a lot of die cast built into this, and that chest plate does look amazing. Okay, however, I like this young look. Okay, one more accessory, and then we'll do our final thoughts. All right, so the last accessory. So if you have the Yolopark figures before the AMK series, which is again I guess they're higher end model kits, but they're not overly priced, but they're higher end model kits. The stands have been subpar. However, these stands, they look pretty amazing. And again, there's that logo, Decepticon logo, the magnet in back. In this form, he doesn't have any light up features because he's got the yellow eyes before he went full on Megatron. However, some cool design here. You've got a little wire in there, bendable. Okay, so and underneath here, you got a little peg. Let's see if we can get it on there. Yep, fits on there perfectly. Moving back some. Okay, sorry, let me adjust my camera for a second. There we go. Okay, so he fits on there. Okay, I'll probably have him, you know, firing, arm back, this leg up. It'd be cool to have a little, I do like to pose my figures. It is fun to put them in somewhat of an articulated pose rather than a static pose. But yeah, so the stand works. The stand is a win for me. Let's pull out the counterpart, the Orion Pax, and do a quick side-by-side comparison and discuss the good and the bad. So the good and the bad, final thoughts. So here they are side by side, and I'm trying to find the bad. Okay, so they're model kits. So because they're model kits, they are Transformer figures, and I mentioned this before in the Orion Pax video. They are Transformer figures that are model kits of action figures. So they don't actually transform. I made this couple slips in the review, and I said, let me transform them. You're not transforming them. You are putting on the pieces to put them in the different form of the action figure, okay, or the upgraded version. So they're not actually they don't transform, but they're Transformer figures. I know I mentioned this. It's like Inception, a dream within a dream, a conundrum, but they are action figures. Some of the parts do fall off from time to time, as expected, as model kits, but you stick them right back on. Some things are a little bit tight, so there are things that you just have to accept with a model kit. Now, the good. I was surprised at how much die cast is in both figures. Super surprised with that. The light-up features are amazing. However, for D-16 and Orion Pax, these are both the cogged versions. I'm going to leave them in this form, so the light-up features really don't work or are necessary. But I'm not a light-up feature kind of collector. I know some of us are. I prefer the lights in the display so that way we can see the figures. I'm not going to go around and tap every light in every figure. It's just not how I display. Some may be a little different. If you do, you know, it's a safe place. We don't judge, okay? It's just something I'm not going to do. But the biggest thing I like about these is I like the movie. I found the movie amazing. And how many Orion Pax figures do we have in our collection? We do have one coming out from Agabus, from BotCon, later down the road, so keep your eye out for that. Looking forward to that for an official Orion Pax. That'll be coming from X-Transbot. It'll be a BotCon exclusive. Definitely going to get my hands on that. But we don't have a lot of Orion Pax Masterpiece figures in the collection. Same with D-16. Everything that I have is a Megatron version of him, but it's nice to have, you know, the idea of a cogless Optimus Prime and D-16, or Orion Pax and D-16. It's nice to have a younger version. I'll keep my hand out, it keeps going out of focus. A younger version of, yeah, just Optimus Prime and D-16. And I think they look great together. And paired this way, they just work. If they make any other figures in this line, I may pick them up. If not, I'm definitely happy with this. So as far as the recommendation, I recommend them as long as you understand that you're getting a Transformer figure, you're getting a, you know, Transformer figure that you build into an action figure. So that's it. Enjoy the walk and see you next time.